You.
You, my friend.
You.
Miss you, my friend.
Well.
You know who?
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 I did know.
And who? You, my friend. What is Love you, buddy. Thanks for coming into my life, my friend.
Love you.
I'm really happy to have you in my life, my friend.
No. We love you.
That's very nice.
We love you. God, do.
Oh man, I love you, buddy.
Sabe teaches us honesty. Honesty is speaking and acting truthfully, and thereby remains morally upright. Long ago, there was a giant called Kitchisabe. Kitchisabe walked among the people to remind them to be honest to the laws of the Creator and honest to each other. The highest honor that could be bestowed upon an individual was the saying, "There walks an honest man. He can be trusted." To be truly honest was to keep the promises one made to the Creator and to others, to oneself. The elders would say, never try to be someone else. Live true to your spirit. Be honest to yourself and accept who you are the way the Creator made you. Kitchisabe. Through tragedy, I discovered I have a Ojibwe in me. What's going on, folks? It's the Lord of Ort, and got a brother. He's going to join us. He's in the comment section. Cole Durden, thank you for joining us, and anybody else, for the rest of you, jump in the comment section and say hello. I'd like to welcome you along with my Sasquatch gang, my group of people, and I'm going to thank and welcome Mike Paterson. How's it going, bro?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing, Michael?
I'm irritable.
I can't. Am I on there? I can't see.
No, I just.
Oh, just flip my audio on. Okay.
You don't have yours is black, so are you going to use your camera?
It's not plugged. Oh, it should be plugged in. Shit, hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry,
You guys let you know while he's working it out. That's a juvenile Bigfoot Sasquatch that I filmed.
One
On
sec
the
here.
other side, on the green there, it's a big fellow, a young one that I filmed. And behind me is a female with a juvenile hanging on her. I filmed it this year. Those are images I filmed. What's going on, Sasquatch Southwest, Europe? Good to see you, brother. Hola.
All right, camera's on. There we go. Sorry about that.
It's okay, man. So, hey, man, yeah, I'm a little irritable. Mentioned a little bit. I am I don't want to start I do want to start at a bit of a negative note, and that is I am sick and I mean I wish I had a coin here to flip a coin here. Who's worse? I'll ask you, heads or tails, Mike? Who's worse, the Christian community or the Bigfoot community? Heads or tails?
What was the first one? What?
Heads is Christian community is the worst community, or tails is the Bigfoot community.
I don't know the first one, so
it's okay. It's Bigfoot community. I swear to God, I hope you become you're my friend and ally, because I need one. Because outside of the JT and the Squash gang there up in British Columbia, I don't seem to have that many in the Bigfoot community. Everyone seems to be the biggest jerk there is. I can't believe it. Yeah. So I had a great run-in with Mr. The narcissist himself. I don't know if we should talk about him or not. Do you want to talk about it or not? It's up to you.
Not really. You know, we can start off on a more positive note, and you know, I can share something that happened.
Well, let me share something first, and then you go to it. Okay. So, and I'm sorry about this because it's about synchronicity, and those images that you're seeing right there, and my interaction and my filming of the Sasquatch in my area happened after you and I had a conversation, our first conversation. Now, the guy in the green, he, I don't know if you can see that or not, to the right in the green. And I got a great image and video of it. I never filmed video, but I got that on May the 15th, right after you posted your image of Neff. And you waited 3.5 years while I was struggling for myself in 2020 and 22, warning people about the global agenda out there and paying the price for it on a daily basis. By the way, I was doing that, folks. There's a reason why I have such a small channel and censored. It's not just because I have a shitty channel. It's because I am censored.
Well, hey, I'm censored too, eh? You know, I notice it big time on my own channel. I barely get anything happening these days unless I post a new video, but I'm basically shadow banned.
Oh, it's terrible. They will not let me have 500, right? And it's across the board, but it's not just YouTube. Google's doing this to me on TikTok, on Rumble, on on BitChute, and there's no movement. And I watched my one channel because they won't give me 500, and I watch it gets up to like 496, and it drops to the 460, and it goes all over the place. And I've been watching it for months, and I just like. They're going to make me pay the price, but I don't care because, you know, folks, this is about us and those of us who want to know the truth. And I discovered there's not that many of us. So, but the spirits and Sasquatch and etc. will lead us together. So, and that's the positive thing. So, but the thing is, you were talking about, you know, I think we talked a little bit about synchronicity before, and I think that you know, the guy I filmed, you know, it happened right when you published yours. Now mine, of course, is not as good as yours. You've got the best that is out there right now.
I didn't take those photos. Let's make that clear. Those are not my shots.
But it's Neff, and it's, you know, it's your friend that did it. And so regardless of who took the shot, that's really not that important, is it? it's
no, but I should let me give the details anyways. So Dwayne had stepped outside. It was, I think, it was almost midnight. it was like 11:40 p.m. or something, and on the timestamps, and it's a shame on the timestamp that because he took 2 shots. That's both the same. I cropped the shots and put them together to show the facial differences. You can see on the left, he's grinning, and you can obviously on the right, he's got a full-on smile. There's facial differences, right? The photos were taken seconds apart. It's his forearm, obviously, on top of the fence. It looks a little. I don't know what's going on. It looks like he has very, very silky, sleek skin, right? Like a shiny, short-haired dog, kind of something like that.
Mike, I noticed that your Squatch looks a lot healthier than mine. Maybe it's because of the territory or something,
Yeah, I don't know, but so Dwayne he was outside. He was on his phone texting somebody, and he heard like a child's laughter. He heard a giggle, and after hearing him say giggle, it's like, okay, yeah, that was Neff's giggle, because we've heard it so many times, right? Does this little, almost child sounding giggle. And he didn't see him, but he knew something's going on. So he pointed his phone. He took a shot. He didn't hear the shutter sound go off on his phone that he normally does.
Uh-huh.
So he took a second shot. A few seconds later, I think he took a step or two. The smiling photo was actually taken first, and then the other one second by the timestamps, right? Because there was a whole bunch of there's a shovel leaning against the fence. There's a whole bunch of bullshit with that, the shovel's moved. Yeah, it's lattice. Look at the fence, right? A little bump of the needle moved that, and it's the dog's blanket over the fence. And I get a lot of accusations thrown at me, right? That so they're masks. They're not masks. And
yeah, reproduce if it is, prove it.
Yeah, I know, 2 of them too, not just one, right? People ask about the white in the ears. He has a lot of oil on his skin. So if you look at the one ear that shows in both photos, which will be on the outside edges, the one's got a lot of white, or sorry, no, the one on the inside, the left photo, inside ear, and then right photo, outside ear, the same ear. You can see on the one on the left, it's got that white in there, that's reflection. And then the one on the right, he's turned his head a bit, the reflections basically disappeared. So that's showing that it's light reflection and oil, right?
And then you got that going on right here and right here. It's going on both.
Well, you can't see that ear on that shot, but it shows.
But you can still see reflection going on. You know what? Yeah. My Sasquatch has a very similar nose to yours too. I noticed that.
Someone pointed out it's almost bat-like, which it's odd. It's like almost like a bat's nose. Just
could be, yeah. I guess it could kind of look that way, yeah.
It's a very unique nose, anyways. It's not like I don't know. He's very muscular face too. With the cheekbones and all that. But yeah, I asked when those photos were taken. It was the next visit that we were north, and I asked, "Do you want these put in a video for the world to see?" And they wrote, "Not yet." So I dropped it. I thought, well, that's an interesting answer, because I've developed written communication with them. I've gotten a lot of answers over the years, right, to questions. So I asked them that, and I dropped it, and that was it. And then came a couple times where he had put images on my camera that were blurry, but they were the same as these images, right? Because they can do that. It's very simple for them. And I had asked, I thought because they're blurry, I said, oh, can I put these out? Is that why you're giving me these? And they wrote, no. It's like, oh, okay. And then they did it again, much later, might have been a couple of years or something. And that was the selfie video that I did with the close-up. And so they put that image onto my camera. And that same visit, I was given an 18-inch footprint on arrival. So when later on that night, they put that close-up image of Neff's face on my camera, I asked again, am I allowed to share these? This time, yeah, that's the one. This time they said yes. I was like, oh shit, oh, okay. It surprised me. I didn't expect that. It might be, I don't know if people can make that. For me, it's no problem, right?
Oh, I can see it as clear as day. I see the
Yeah,
eyes, the nose.
his nostrils are lit up basically, and his eyes are lit up, and then along his forehead's all lit up, his brow ridge or whatever. But so I had asked, if I could put that out, and they said yes. And then it was shortly after that I got a message basically from them, Mike, you show. And I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. It was very completely unexpected. And I was like, okay, here we go. Here comes the shit show. Yeah. just like with the, when I first started putting out the audio, right? It's all fake and accusations, hoax, this, that. Like, shut up.
It's the problem is that we're dealing with something, as you and I know, that doesn't fit the mold that materials want, and we're dealing with something that's interdimensional, paraphysical, that's beyond our understanding, and so they show up in ways, it almost looks almost cartoonish. I mean, at times, you're just like, because they're coming in and out of dimensions, you know what I mean? And so, they're not like this perfect. At least that's my observation, at least from my experience. They've
mastered consciousness. They've mastered energy. He
coined them the absolute masters of energy. Right?
Yeah. And, with consciousness, like they can show up in our dreams, and they are not dreams. They are contact, they can show up in different ways too. They don't have to, they still hide their face from me, even in that sense. Although it was back in 2013, they brought one of the children to meet me in that state, and I did get to, see her face, but it was very energetic, right? She was so excited and freaked out at the same time. She was mind blown, like interacting with this human in that that ethereal state. But they've shown me so much incredible stuff. Activity's been 100% of the visits since day one. And like the last visit was the last few visits, one of them didn't have snow on the ground. Two of them did. And, I pull up and there's a 16-inch print waiting for me, and then two other smaller prints. And then two other of those smaller prints showed up as I was preparing casting material. So, it's like you turn your back for a sec, look back, and there's two more footprints. The last visit, I just got there. Dwayne's there. He's inside getting the fire ready or stoking the fire, the wood stove. And I bring some of my stuff in. And as I'm walking up the steps, I hear a clear single wood knock. It wasn't like a really loud one, but it was clear. It was right, it was very close too. And so I told him when I went inside, I said, I heard a wood knock. And then I went back out. Oh, when I first get there, I'm looking for prints. As soon as I get out of my car, I'm looking every time. When there's snow on the ground, I am looking for prints. I scour the whole, I don't miss. If they're there, I will see them. So I had walked up the cottage door, and then when I came back out, so I'd heard the wood knock. I come back out to get more of my stuff out of my vehicle. I come down just about to go down the stairs, and there on my left is a circle of 10 footprints that just appeared seconds earlier. So they went around the tree in a tightrope walk. Younger individual, maybe close to my size foot, maybe slightly bigger. And yeah, left me 10 footprints. And it was a gift, right? They knew I loved seeing the prints. And then later on that night, we were given an adult print, and I had asked for it to. Well, I said it would be amazing to see an adult print, and we got one that night. It was almost 4:30 in the morning when that happened. I had a few beers in me too, and we were tired, and I didn't pull out the tape measure. I put my foot beside it, you know, I videotaped it with my phone, and that was about it, right? And then I should have measured it, but we had a feeling it was the mother's, you know, just the way it was slightly, it wasn't as wide as it was probably 18, 19-inch print. It was big. And oh, the other ones that circled the tree too. So I got down with my video camera, you know, and there's hair. There's hair in these prints, right?
Oh yeah, there. We ever able to gather that up?
You know, I didn't. I don't care. Honestly, at this point, I'm not giving anything to science. Science
Yeah,
is
screw 'em.
avoiding this subject. Science is, you know, we got Meldrum basically is pretty much the, you know, the go-to guy for
Well,
the subject.
you know about the weaponization of anthropology and psychology, don't you?
Well, you know, for me,
It's a strategy, and they're doing it deliberately, and it's to mind screw the rest of us. And you got, and I'm sorry to say this, and it's going to piss a few people off, but Meldrum and guys like Matthew Johnston's are hard guns. They are, and I can prove it, and they're hard guns, and you get to study about, and it's really easy to go look it up about weaponization of anthropology. That's what they done. That's what they did with it to screw this whole message up, and that's what they've done. You know, the thing is, Mike, 60 years ago, there was people like John A. Keel and others were saying the same things, and their voices were buried, and Jeff Meldrum. Their voices were brought to the forefront, and they were paid big money to do it.
I've put a few things in front of Meldrum, and he's shot everything down, which clearly shows me his bias, right? Completely biased, because I know everything.
I got that video, that portion of the video of you with the cast, and then you know, and you and who was it? Him and the three other guys. And they the one said, hey, they chose your cast, and they proved that it was true, and then they just disregarded, didn't even put it up there.
They left the result hanging. It was Bindernagel, Meldrum, and Stroud. I'd given a cast copy to Stroud and Bindernagel. I didn't give one to Meldrum because I really don't like the guy. Bindernagel, you know, I respected him, and I gave one to Stroud. You know, we met him. I've met him, sat down with him a couple times, you know, over beer and wings and stuff, and discussing this stuff, right? But
right.
Everything I put in front of Meldrum, he shot down. Oh, one's a double print. Oh, that one, the toes are curled. I had a conversation just the other day with Sonia Zohar, who, you know, recently the Flash of Beauty thing, you know, posted a video with her interview, right? I actually have another interview that she did. It's just the audio, which I've been given permission from James Bartley, who actually interviewed her, and from Sonia to put it out there, because it's supporting me, and it explains what she finally came out and explained what her experiences when she came here. And I had rented a cottage for a week in Neff's area. And, you know, we had some pretty mind-blowing stuff go on, right? So I'll be posting that, supporting that. But anyway, so that I'd given her a cast copy too. So she had mentioned that this person that she knows, who knows basically everything about feet, you know, is reflexology basically. And Sonia gave her the cast and asked her about it. And the first thing she said was, that's not from a human. The same cast that Meldrum said, oh, that was wearing shoes, you know. It's so it's if you're not, you know, if you're not biased, if you don't have an agenda, hey, you're just going to speak the truth, right? Meldrum's biased, and I have no respect for him because of that. So I just do my thing, right?
But at this point, I don't have any respect for him either, because, you know, if I can figure this stuff out, a guy, by the way, Timothy, yes, that is Neff. And you know, if I can figure this stuff out, they can as well. They choose not to, or they have, and they're dismissing it for whatever agendas they have. I do believe a big part of it is grant money. It's all about money and about themselves. These guys are all about themselves. That's what it comes down to. And I'm not, it sounds harsh, but this is across the board. It's not just Bigfoot. It's across the board in this whole damn world, right? I mean, this shit show that we call life in this world is just a bunch of guys that are about self-promoting instead of doing the real research. And if you did the real research, if I could figure out that these are interdimensionals, if JT over there at Sasquatch Confessions can figure it out, and you can figure it out, I mean, we're just average Joes, and we can figure out why. The reason is because we don't have the bias. We're not tied to grants, and our egos aren't based on this. You know.
Yeah, and you know that's the whole thing. It's all ego, right? Hey, I have my own ego to contend with as well, and you know I do my best to keep a cap on it.
Well, yeah, we all do.
Sometimes I want to tell some people where to go. You know,
well, maybe it's time to do it. I'm about ready to do it.
You know,
I'm about ready to do it. I'm sick of the bullshit I've gone through, and you've gone for a hell of a lot longer, and I'm sick of it.
Yeah, at the same time, you know, I'm always trying to grow and be a better human. So actually, recently I went into a Bigfoot group on Facebook that had over 40,000 people, and I done this before, and it's basically you post anything, it turns into a shit show and a lot of negativity thrown at you, right? So
I know
I've now done it for 10 years, and I've reacted a lot, right? So I'm at the point like I did it to basically challenge myself, right? To help myself, you know, heal my own self. It's like, okay, I'm going to put this out there again, and I know I'm going to get stuff thrown at me, and you know, people laughing and calling this names and that, and just to see how I handle it now, right? And you know, so far I've been pretty good with it, and it's a growth process, right? And dealing with this Bigfoot community, because most people have no experience.
Yeah, I know.
You know, like the vast majority have no experience whatsoever, and you don't know shit until you have contact. That's when you start to learn and see what
that's the reality of things. And that's the thing, you know, got a couple of things. First is, you know, is it all right if I mirror your stuff? I give you you know, the credit on my channel.
Sorry, say it again.
Is it okay? Can you give me permission to mirror your stuff on my channel as long as I give you credit?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And so the other thing is, I think this is a real message about all this stuff and that is, I would like to get people to do their own research and not be afraid and be the lone wolves like us, because that's how your only way you're going to know any of this is true. You cannot count on the Bigfoot community. There's too much confusion. There's too much infighting. There's too much agendas. If you want to know the truth, you're going to have to do it. And I want to tell you that if a Yahoo like me can do this, if Mike can do it, you can do it as well. You just got to have to face your dark night of the soul and your fear, and just don't worry about it. They haven't done anything to me. They haven't done anything to Mike. As far as, you know, we're still here talking, and they're going to do whatever they're going to do, and you'll be all right. But the only way to make this work and for you to know that it's real is stop listening to everyone else and do it yourself. That's the point of this. It's not about, come follow us. We're your new guru. No, we're not your guru. We don't know what Mike's not your, I don't want to be a guru. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've taken a few lumps over the years, nothing intentional to harm me, but you know, I've been whacked on the head. I took this awesome looking blue marble thing off the back of my ear coming down the steps there on the last visit. You know, just it stunned me too. It kind of hurt a little bit.
Do that again for you, Mike, because I've slow in the
actually,
draw.
I'll show. Okay, there's that one.
There you go.
Pretty big marble too. And then actually the visit before, I was talking about a red orb incident, and right at that moment, this come out of thin air. So I see this every visit, almost every visit, marbles out of thin air, right? I would say Dwayne and I are probably have seen more apports than anybody in the freaking history of Earth. There's been literally thousands. We're up to thousands of marbles at this point that we have witnessed come out of thin air.
That's
You know,
amazing. That's amazing.
it's normal in our experiences. Much of the activity, it's indoors, right? So it's it's quite the ride, I tell you.
Well, we all have our different part of our journey, our different experiences, and I've had some pretty awful, hair-raising experiences. Those that listen to my story, but I'm still here. So, and I think a big part of it has been for me is to learn the lesson. And the lesson is that they're not demons, they're not monsters, and I'm creating it. And if I want to turn them into demons and monsters, they're going to give it to me just to remind me that, you know what, I'm the one that's being the jerk. I'm the one that's judging. I've been so contaminated by religion, Christianity, and society. And I'm just like, you know what? And I know that upsets people when I say that, but I'm being honest about it. And I know that offends you. But look, do you want to operate in belief system or do you want to operate in the truth? It's your choice. My choice, I want to operate in the truth. And the truth has led me to the realization that Sasquatch is 100% real. And it's interdimensional. And it doesn't fit the paradigm that the mainstream, the narrative masters out there want you to believe. And you don't need to be afraid of these things. In fact, I would argue you have to be more afraid of your fellow human beings than Sasquatch. You have far more to worry about each other than Sasquatch. I know it sounds harsh, but
and when I was going, when I'm posting this stuff in these groups recently, I'm putting prints and structures, and that's it. And people ask, "Oh, why is there only one print?" And I'm basically telling them, I'm not going there. I've done this. There's this. Believe it or not, I don't care. And I'm not delving into their abilities in certain groups because these people can't handle it, right? They cannot handle the information. These groups, there's people still, do they exist? Hey, tell me, somebody please tell me, do they exist? We're so far past that at this point. Science knows they exist, right?
Yeah, if we could figure it out, of course they do. Absolutely. It's just like this whole thing about disclosure of the UFOs is like, as if we even need the government or the military to disclose anything. We know it exists. We don't need your permission. We don't need your authorities' permission. And that's what we need to learn. We don't need the government's permission or the big shots' permission to find out if this is true, and nor do we need their approval.
No, I despise government. I despise any authority figures that think they have any authority over me. Like, get out of my face. And I've always been like that.
We're punks. I mean, that's how I've been too. I was a hardcore punker in the 80s. I've been that way my whole life. You know what I mean? Wherever the group goes, I'm going to go the opposite direction because I've learned in life, and after 56 years, that you're better off going the opposite direction than where the group's heading, because the group usually screws each other up with all the agendas and the egos and everything else. You're just better off. And I really encourage all of you guys to do it on your own, and you will come to your own journey, and you have your own little bit of the piece of the puzzle to share with people. And not everyone's journey is exactly the same, and it's not supposed to be. You know what I mean? That's my discovery. I mean, and I say that because I compare my journey, your journey, and everyone else's journey that I've been paying attention to. And if they were meant to be all perfectly aligned and same, that's what would happen. That's not what's happening. So we have to embrace that and say, you know what? This picture, this story is a hell of a lot bigger than us and our simple minds and how we see things. Can we accept the fact that the world's bigger than us and that we've been deceived and been manipulated by the supposed experts, the authorities? And guess what? When you can come to terms with that, because this is a whole thing. It's all not just about Sasquatch. It's about what we've all gone through. And what we've gone through is a lot of crap. Each and every one of us. We have been totally deceived in every level. And I know that sounds extreme, but I can prove it to you if you so choose to hear. I can prove to you that you've been lied to about the UFO, the moon landing. You've been lied to about what this place looks like. You've been lied to about what this place is. You've been lied to with your religion, and you've been lied to by the mainstream Bigfoot community. And there's an agenda behind it all, and it's even bigger than the people that are doing it. And it's up to you. It's up to
I
you.
think there's a lot of bullshit stories put out to try and maintain a level of fear and confusion. You know, I hear these stories, attacks and this and that, and I say, well, show me something, show me some evidence. There is none.
I know. It's just stories. It's all this to just promote. It's the big thing, and of course they take advantage of people's instinctive behavior to want to be entertained, and we like scary stories. You know, it occupies our minds. It keeps us distracted from reality. I'm not saying there's not been bad stories, because I've had my own hair-raising experience with Sasquatch, but I'm still standing here. In fact, I believe it was designed to wake my ass up when it came to my being brainwashed through religion and the world, what it offered to me. I've always been a rebel, but I've always, I bought a few things that were just flat out lies. And you just have to come to terms, do I want to be a promoter? Like I started this show with the intro. Sasquatch it's about honesty. That's my experience. I don't know about yours, Mike, but I've come to realize it's all about honesty. How honest do you want to be with the experience that you're dealing with?
Yeah.
Are you willing to? You want to face the arrows? You want to face all the criticism and the crappy behavior of other people, or do you want to hide in your shell? You don't want. Do you want to stay a little child? I mean, listen. I mean, like that video from Henry Franzoni that it had the interview, and then the length that the one show that you told us to go to, and his discussion about things. Listen, he was telling you this. I've been telling you these things go through the trees and come out of the ground and do all sorts of. I mean, and he's saying the same damn thing. So if you don't believe me, go listen to this guy. This guy's got the credentials, and he's been around a lot longer, and he's going to tell you that it's the same thing. And I don't understand, why the rest of you guys, and then this is a chastisement. And you guys, there's just some big names that I know. And I'm going to tell you something. You've been around for a long time, and why are you afraid to tell the truth? It sickens me. Why? Who cares if anybody, why did the group doesn't mean anything? Especially if it's all based on lies, people. It doesn't mean anything. People
care too much what others think. And this is where I'm at the point now. I tell anybody and everybody, if I go start a new job somewhere, I'm telling that boss within days about, interdimensional Sasquatch. I don't give a shit what they think. I don't care what anybody thinks at this point, because I know it's all true. I know there's no embellishment. It's just truth. And that's all I'm speaking. And it's very empowering, really, to speak out and share this stuff and know that it's real. And like Neff's family have given me so much supporting evidence. Like I have a bunch of videos that are behind closed doors, basically, that they're not put on the open public page on my YouTube anymore, right? More newer stuff gets basically put behind closed doors, but there's quite a bit of stuff with vocals and prints, and it's just a continual showing of supporting evidence, right? And they keep giving it, and they know exactly what I'm doing with it. In fact, in the last 3 visits, they don't want me recording indoors anymore for whatever reason. And the first one, they pulled my batteries twice. And on top of it, they wiped the file sizes there. 2 files. One's about 400 and change meg, and the other one's maybe about 6. I can't remember. But there's file sizes. They're both flatlined. There's nothing on them. They're dead. They wiped them. That's never happened before. So I thought, okay, maybe that's just Nin Yan and messing around. Because he likes to, he's a bit of a troublemaker. This is a young male up and coming in this family, right? so the next visit I did it again, and again I had issues. And then last visit, they actually like the water shut off for the winter, right? So we'll use a melt water by the wood stove. There's a bucket there. He actually dipped my audio recorder in the bucket. It was all wet. I had to pull the batteries out. It's still working, but he didn't wreck it. But it's like, okay, that's 3 visits in a row. You guys don't want me recording indoors anymore. All right.
Right. By the
what
way,
you were
Siberia. We got someone from Siberia. Welcome.
Oh, wow.
There you go. You brought them, that's for sure.
You know, as you were mentioning earlier, we all have our personal journey with them. It's basically tailored to the individual. They know what we focus on, and they use that to show their presence in many ways, right? Although there is a universal aspect to their behavior, which is what I have seen in every case that I have dealt with.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is that?
Oh, Serbia.
Serbia. My apologies. I got that totally screwed up. It says, still, that's pretty far away.
I think one's a little hot, one's a little cold.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sorry about that, man. I screwed that up.
It's all good.
Hey, so I want to. Can I
East.
show a comparison? I mean, I want to do some comparison images, if it's okay with you, about what you filmed and talk about, and then what I filmed, and I think it would support an argument about the high strangeness, as people like to call it. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's an image. If I can find it, let me go in the files here and. Okay, I might have to click through a few of these things to find it. This is the image that you talk about in your lecture about the arm coming out of the
arm over the snowmobile, or?
Yes, but I got to find the one. I'm just going to have to plow through these. I apologize, folks.
While you're doing that, I'll just explain. So what happened was that this is way back, and I had told Dwayne at one point, because we still didn't know what we were dealing with, right? We didn't really understand this interdimensional nature about them yet. So I had told him, hey, take photos behind you sometimes, like without looking, like point your camera behind you. And that's, he did it going up the cottage steps. And that's where, it's a bit washed out, that photo.
That's okay. It's the daytime and that kind of stuff, right?
So it's completely washed out, though. But that's
I can see it. So this is the arm. This is the hand.
Very hairy arm. Yeah.
And paws. Now, and it's always, I filmed this myself, and I want to show you guys. This is a guy, and if I can find it, and well, maybe it's right next to it.
I found a marble in between 2 snowmobiles later on after that.
I believe it.
It's like that picture's blown out.
So this is what I filmed. I think it was the end of March, beginning of April this year. And this is a dude, and if you can see it, and I got better images, so you can find it in my videos. But there's one that's popping out, and you can see the arm and the fuzziness and the fingers. You'll see it if you pay attention. And it's got stuff in its hands, like rocks or something, and it's popping out of this tree. And it's, I mean, it might be hard for you to believe, but you just pay attention to it. That's literally one popping out, coming out of a tree with rocks in its hands. And so my point into that is to support what Mike's saying, that you're going to find stuff and it's going to like, no way, it can't be. This is fake. You're seeing things. There's no way there's just going to be a hand there or an arm. I'm filming hands all the time. They can do it and they will do it, but you just got to look at it and embrace it. And you know what I'm saying, Mike?
Yeah. We're getting physical contact pretty much every visit at this point, indoors, like physical contact. I'm even getting my foot grabbed under the table. I have captured vocalization in my car. I have it. I have the proof. And then our discussion, Dwayne's in the car with me. We're going down a back road, and it's all of a sudden we hear a vocal, and think about it for a sec, and I say, Dwayne, I said, what was that? That wasn't you, was it? No, I thought that was you. And I played it back because it was on my dash cam, so it was recording audio too, right?
And this is how weird things get. So this is one, if you guys can see this, it's hard to imagine this. So maybe if you look at this is one I filmed as well this year. And this is my neighbor's yard. He's looking at me. First of all, you can just see, okay, we'll just say it's just some kind of apparition or spirit or whatever. But this is going on right here, right? And this whole black mass here, that's not part of the tree. And there ain't nothing around that tree. And there's nothing about the house, or the neighbor didn't put anything there. And that's one looking at me. And it's middle of the day. I know it's not the greatest image, but I do have the image in one of my videos. And my point is just to bring out, not to brag about me, it's just to say that they're out there. The thing is, you have to get out there. You don't have to go very far. I'm like saying, this is my neighbor's yard. He's looking at me. And he's got the furry, like fuzzy paws. He's not completely manifest. You can almost see the face and all that. His arms and his paws are there. And so that's how it works. I mean, and I know it won't make, for some people who are materialistic or think it's just simply flesh and blood, but if you understand you're dealing with something that's interdimensional, that doesn't work the way you and I work, that can literally just appear, if it so chooses.
There's no walls with them. There are no walls, which they've shown me again and again. It's every visit. Like I said, the activity's indoor. Written communication, physical contact, apports. Recently too, this has happened a few times. So I'll say sometimes Dwayne would bring a package of pepperonis, puts them in the fridge. And the very first time, some disappeared. And he asked me, hey, did you eat some of the pepperoni? I said, no, I haven't touched them. He said, I swear there was more in there. So the next time, there was a time when the package was still sealed, and I had counted them, I think about 3 times to make sure I got the right number. Just counting them, it's still sealed. Pepperonis were disappearing out of that package sealed. Then I had brought a pie for them. I put it on the counter, said, hey, if you guys want that. They didn't touch it. So I ended up eating it. Cutting into it, they put a marble inside the pie. So last visit, I had brought.
It's so absurd, and
they're funny.
I believe you, man, because it's just my experience. It's like everything's, you have to throw everything out the window because they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do.
Yeah. So the last visit, I had brought a package of blueberry muffins. See if they want any of those. They haven't really been touching the food. I gift indoors now. I don't even gift outside. It's indoors, the end of the counter. Magic mushrooms, I'll tell about that too. But so I brought these blueberry muffins, Costco big muffins, and it was still sealed. Package was sealed, and nothing happened for a bit. And then I take a look, one's gone. There's a sticker on there, but it wasn't pulled off, and it wasn't pulled off and stuck back on. I'd be able to tell, right? It was perfect. So they have shown several times now that they can take an inanimate object and move it through another inanimate object. They don't have to open the fridge door to take a beer out, and that's happened too. Not opening the door, but taking the beer out. Pepperonis. They can move an object through an object. It's, I've had them, like I said, stuff happen in my vehicle on numerous occasions now. So there are no walls with them. And science doesn't know this, Science still freaking hanging up pheromone chips and putting up trail cams, playing this.
You don't have to do any of that. I'm proving it, people. I have MS. See, I got damaged from the swine flu jibbity jab back in 2009. That's one of the reasons I'm so passionate about warning you people. But that's only one of the reasons about the past 3 years, and you can't trust what's going on. But anyways, the thing is, I have MS, so I have to use a walker or a wheelchair. I walk around the edge of the woods, and I film them. You don't have to go deep in the woods. You don't have to go very far. I'm proving to anybody who was willing to listen that you can have the same experiences. You don't have to go deep in the woods. You don't have to have a whole crew of guys and armed to the teeth and a bunch of swinging dicks acting like they know what they're talking about. You can do this on your own, and you can have your own experiences. And I'm sorry if I sound like Mr. Know-It-All, but I do have some experience in this now. And I'm telling you, if it could happen to me, I'm pretty damn confident it will happen to you if you wanted to. And Mike's saying the same thing, basically. He's saying he's having interaction indoors as well. You just have to rearrange your thinking. And they've told you these are demons and these are ghosts and these are monsters and all that, and they're none of that. I'm sorry.
I'm sure there's other things than Sasquatch that.
Oh, I got tons of images, Mike. I got tons of images. I filmed things and I look like trolls. It looked like ogres. It looked like, I mean, I got great images. People that pay attention. The trees are an amazing thing. There's something going on. The trees are like the neurons of this place, and they connect the underworld to the middle world, which we walk on, with the upper world, which is the atmosphere. And they have some kind of like the elevators that have these things go up and down. You need to start focusing more on the trees. I keep telling people that I got great images. There's nothing great about me. The only difference is I bother to aim my camera up, but the rest of you guys haven't done it. And I know, and then they convince you that it's pareidolia. So then you're going to have to study what pareidolia is and research. And when you see things popping out of the trees, not some knobs in the tree or nodules or bark, you actually see things popping out of trees, you're going to have to deal with it. And I want you to deal with it because it's your reality.
When you showed that one image with the black around that, the
tree.
Black, yeah. So I was sitting in the chair once. This is, back in 2013. I was sitting in the chair. Dwayne's beside me. He's sitting in the chair. We're both watching the forest in front of us. We're on the gravel driveway, basically. And at one point, I think this was the time that I had put an image of a marble dropping into my hands were cupped in my lap. And I put an image in my head of that marble dropping into my lap, and it happened instantly. But besides that, that's not my point. My point is, I saw that dark, shadowy, like a smoky substance. I called it darker than dark when it happened. That's how I explained it to Dwayne, because it didn't happen to him till after I said that. But it happened right here, inches from my face, and then they did that. They covered my face. It was very soft hair. It was firm too. They covered my mouth, my nose. Basically, it felt like they took a hairy hand and covered my face, not my eyes.
Yeah, and you talk about
them. I was calm. I was cool with it, right? And then I just like, holy shit. And I told Dwayne what had just happened, and then they did it to him. I remember he got caught with his mouth open, right? So mouth full of hair, sort of thing. But it was, it was really, when they give physical contact, it just feels like a person touching you, right? There's no difference except you can't see anything, right? There's nothing to see. So it's pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, and it just goes on and on and on. And if you allow it to happen, and I film all sorts of stuff in the trees. There's not just Sasquatch, but there's things that look like human beings. I mean, there's the hooded people. I don't know if you've had any of those images yet, Mike, of the hooded people, but I filmed that. There's thing that you talked about is the orbs and how they'll turn into they'll consolidate or coagulate into like a mass. And I have great images. This year. I mean, I have eye shine in the air. I discovered this year, because I bothered to start filming orbs. Next thing you know, I'm seeing pairs of them that look like eyes, and I'm like, can they float? Can Sasquatch also fly? And I'm been to the impression that they can fly.
There was a incident. This is before I, was invited there. But so Dwayne and his girlfriend were on a snowmobile, and there was a pair of red, glowing, disembodied eyes following them. But not only following them, he's flying on a snowmobile. They were keeping up, no problem. Yeah. Oh yeah, they can move like the wind, man. Faster.
Exactly. That's a perfect description. And I wonder sometimes how much they influence the wind. And I'm going to say something that's pretty controversial. I think that these spirits might have some kind of interaction with what we call the wind. Now, I know there's something, oh my gosh, that's not scientific. How can you possibly prove it? Well, if you start filming stuff like I do, and then you go outside and it's not windy, and all of a sudden the wind gust starts blowing on you, and how did that just happen? And you start getting used to this. And you say, oh, they're around me now. I have no one else to say, so they're around me. So then you got to get used to the fact that they're around you. And you're like, I mean, there's been lots of people in the past in many different cultures that told us about this stuff, but we all dismissed it all as like this superstition and folk tales and that kind of stuff, and folklore. But the fact that I'm discovering that this is actually happening, and if it can happen to me, then I'm encouraging you guys to figure out for yourself as well. And you say, oh my gosh, there is something going on in the air. Something's influenced the air that's besides whatever we call wind. There's something ethereal, something. There's entities that are involved with this. It's not just the supposed Earth rotating on its axis type of thing and heat.
Yeah, if you want to believe that too.
But
don't get me into that. So I've asked them about all this stuff.
Oh, but I need to ask you something, and then you go to that. If you can remember this, ask Neff if he's associated with Esau. And I'm making this up. I mean, the book makes it very clear that he's talking about Bigfoot. He's not talking about Arabs. It's not Nephilim. They're not Nephilim. That's a lie. So if you could ask them, are you guys associated with Esau? I'd like to see if we get a similar confirmation, so we can put to bed this stupidness about this whole thing that they're Nephilim.
I've asked them directly, are you Nephilim? No. Do you have a DNA connection to Nephilim? No. So that's the answers I got from them. I saw somebody asked a question too. You ever reached out to them, through the mind? And I have. And most of the time, nothing happens. But I remember an incident way back. I was feeling down that day, and I reached out to Neff. I was working, and then I'd gone home for a break. So I'm sitting at home on the computer, and suddenly I hear he showed up, and it wasn't right away, but he showed up, and I hear him call my name in my head. It was like distant, and it wasn't a computer. It was a distant call in my head, and immediately followed by bang, 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 these bangs in my apartment, loud, that I had been there for about 8 years, never heard those ever. The timing was impeccable, as their timing always is, impeccable.
Yeah, it's their timing, it's not ours.
But he basically heard, he heard my call. And I think also, the incident with the marble dropping into my cupped hands, it happened so fast that it's almost like they saw they saw it in my subconscious before it even reached my conscious mind, because their reaction time was instantaneous. It was unbelievable how it was impossible. It's like you can't react that fast unless there's something else going on. So this is why I say they've mastered consciousness, like with incidents like this, right? Sorry.
I agree with you. And it's like as far as extraterrestrials brought up about extraterrestrials in the woods, hey, I found them in the middle of my town. I have an X structure 350 yards due east in a ravine. It's a teepee structure, actually. It's not an X structure. And I'm saying, so if you think that they can't do this, they can do this anywhere. In fact, they can do it they can make a structure where there's no trees at all. And what I mean by that is they can, I don't know how they do it. I've seen a couple images from two guys out in Pennsylvania, and there's it looks like branches flying horizontally in the air, and they've been actually tree trunks, and I don't know where they're going and what's taking them, except I did see one image where they looked like there's a Sasquatch almost like conducting it. It almost like doing some kind of magical thing. They have control over the elements. I mean, I know it sounds bizarre, but I mean, when I do stuff, folks, maybe it's because of, of all my health issues and everything else. And I'm just like, I go full bore until I find out the truth about something. When I started this stuff, I was 2017. I was hell bent on disproving this stuff, and that Bigfoot was nothing more than a government psyop. And there is a government psyop. The government psyop is they have lied to us about what Sasquatch is, and Sasquatch is actually freaking real. But and if you look into this stuff, you really put some time in it, you're going to see some amazing things. At first, we call it all high strangeness because we don't know what else we put it as placeholder. But the fact of the matter is, there's like, from my experience, at least, I'm nothing special. If it's happening to me, it has to be happening to other people, Mike. You're saying it's happening to you in your own way. So it's got to be happening to a hell of a lot more people. And I guess my mission is to encourage people to do it on your own and not be afraid. Stop listening to those voices. They don't know what they're talking about. Your pastors don't know what they're talking about. The scientists don't. If they do know what they're talking about, they're hiding it from you.
Don't.
Right, they don't. That's what it is.
They don't know shit. It comes down to, they have their theories. This is applied. This is past the theory stage. This is physical, non-physical, however, both, and it's being proven personally to many individuals, right? And this is not somebody on a chalkboard putting down math equations proving something. Theoretically, this is the hairy folk stepping up and showing us, this shit's real, man.
You have to get out in the real world, not in your ivory tower. And that's the reality of the situation. Now, here's the thing, folks. I want to show this to you. Now, the description of Esau in the Bible, it doesn't describe a human being. He calls him as hairy as a goat. You look it up, and I want to show you what looks hairy like a goat. You think it's an Arab? You think it's a Muslim? They lied to you. As hairy as a goat is Sasquatch is hairy as a goat. And that's not Nephilim. They're talking about its history and a time when we were interacting with these things, and we betrayed them. We are the ones who betrayed them. They didn't betray us. And if you read the whole thing, you'll see it. Now, it's hidden in metaphor and a language. It's been dumbed down for the masses so that you don't understand it, where the adepts and the high priest and the priestcraft know what's going on. But that's Esau. That's the description of Esau. That is not a Nephilim. So you need to put this to bed. And I knew Scott Carpenter. I liked the guy, but he was wrong about that. He's just dead wrong. And I think he was afraid to talk the truth about it because he was too indebted or too embedded with, his evangelical Christianity thing. He was afraid to tell the truth about the stuff. So he followed somebody else's advice, except with just reading the damn book. It's
Yeah. The fear is understandable. I had a lot of fear at first. It's, of course, I'm dealing with some interdimensional invisible giant, right? I saw somebody say, does it matter if you live in the city? No, it doesn't. Not at all.
No,
I've had people experience things just watching my videos, binge watching my videos, listening to Neff's voice, and suddenly, hey, something has happened. And I've had a good couple of handfuls of people tell me this over the years, right? They're listening, man. They're watching. Wouldn't be surprised if they were right now. They don't always watch me. I've asked that with Neff's family. I recently asked them if non-humans live inside the earth. They confirmed that. They said yes. I'm trying to remember some of the questions I've asked them.
And that confirms our ancestors and the elders and the First Nations people, and they were saying the same thing. They were telling us in the past about that, but their voices were crushed.
It's such a blessing to have developed written communication. I don't, last visit, I got no questions answered. The visit before, I got 4 questions answered, right? And some of the stuff's personal to me too. I'm trying to find out how many lives I've lived, who I am, where I come from, things like that. More of a personal nature, slowly chipping away at it and getting some responses from them, which are interesting. but they know what goes on behind closed doors. They're a threat. They're a threat to the status quo. They're a threat to evil because
They
they
can't
can't.
control it. They know they can't control it. They can't
No,
control
and
these
they
things.
know what's going on in your mind. They know your intentions. They know what's going on behind closed doors. They know about CERN. They know more than we know about what's going on with this Earth, with this system. We're
Right.
under attack, right? They're well aware of all of it.
So Aaron says, I'd be careful that you don't have plasmic tricksters making you think they're Sasquatch people. Sure, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. And there are stuff out there, and there are shapeshifters, and you'll discover that too. But you, through time, I mean, you'll figure it out. And it doesn't. And end of the day, it just means that there's another entity. There's more than just Bigfoot out there.
I'm 10 years in with the same family. It's the same spot all the time, right? Just
Right.
try to find some. This was, this is about a 16-inch print that showed up.
Hold on, Mike. Let me.
When I arrived.
Let me switch you over here. There you go. I got you.
It's hard to see. Anyways, that's about a 16-inch footprint.
We can see it now. So
on arrival, I had just gotten there. I tried casting it, but it's hard to see there's a bit of a glare. So
we can see it. If you can see it, it's like it's the greenish blue. That's the greenest thing is the footprint.
It was wet. It was too wet, so the casting didn't hold. But they drew this face. I had asked who built the pyramids, and then I wrote Anunnaki, humans, or other, and they just did this. You can't see it. This kind of smiley face, big circle, smiley face. That's all they did, right? They've done that face a couple times. I don't understand, what that is. This was weird. So if you look at that, it's actually barbecue sauce, but the back edge is a perfectly straight line, like this.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
So what had happened was, Dwayne had brought a brand new bottle of barbecue sauce, and it disappeared. And I get home after the visit. It wasn't there when I got in my car, and when I got home, get out of my car, that's all over the side of my car, and there's a straight line. It's bizarre, man. It makes no sense whatsoever.
So Vlad asks, can shadow people be a Sasquatch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Definitely.
And vice versa. And this is how this thing works, So every time I think I got a good beat on this, they bring some new stuff to remind me that I'm just a simple human being that knows very little. And you have to get used to this whole idea that you're not in control of things, and that,
they've told me I'm watched by bad humans. I'm watched by non-humans. Maybe we all are. I don't know. As far as non-humans go, anyways.
I think so. From my observation, I know I am. You just have to get used to it. It's always been that way. That's the thing. Once you realize, at least for me, and I don't think I'm anything. I have a hard time believing anything special. If it's happening to me, the odds are it's happening to you. The only difference is we talk about all the time, people talk about at least, is that once they know that the game is on. Now it's up to you what you want to do with it. Do you want to run and hide like a little boy or girl, or do you want to embrace this and say you're now learning higher truths about your reality of things and what you're in? It's up to you. You know what I mean? And you're going to go through some crazy stuff. And there's a time, I think, there's going to be times when I'm still getting dead scared, but then I laugh at myself and I think, this is my problem. I'm overreacting to this stuff. I'm the one who's having the issue. And so I'm starting to get to the point where I kind of just laugh about it a little bit. I say, here's another manifestation of something that's around me, and I don't have to worry about it. You know what I mean? It's not really. It's to me, it's like this. And I'm not saying Sasquatch this way, but a lot of these entities, these things we call spirits that are around us, they're just like squirrels. They're like they're just a different dimension. They're just in a different dimension, and there's no reason to think that the other dimensions are full of different types of beings, just like there's here, the physical realm. You know what I mean?
I want to mention too that, so I know this now. I don't want to get into the details, but they still haven't shown us how to do it. But I know through things that have happened that we can disappear into thin air like they can. We can do it.
That's
I'm trying to figure it out. It has to do with the 3 dots.
I just shaman. It's up there in Canada. I don't know. Inuit is what it is. I saw a video of it, and there's actually I should post it. That's what he did. And man, they're having a ceremony. They're in this igloo, and they're doing the ceremony, and he literally vanished in the middle of the video igloo, and he came back, and it wasn't, CGI or it's the magic that we know of it. It just dematerialized and came back. I don't know. I did it. He's filmed by camera.
Throw yourself back on the screen there, Michael.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Actually, I want to, if it's all right with you, I would like to show the Sasquatch that I filmed. I just want to, not to brag, but I just want to show the face that because it's not as good as yours, and this is the middle of the day. But if you guys pay good attention, you can see the eyes. And this is the nose I want to talk about. It's very similar to Mike's Bigfoot. He got this long, straight nose like Mike's has, but then the broad nostrils, and there's this thing going on here. Now, remember, I filmed this. I knew there was something there, and there was a stink smell, and I can always share with that about this story because it's not really about me. But it's middle of the day, and it's actually another one on top of them, believe it or not. But if you pay attention to the video, you'll see the eyes move, and it moves back and forth, the pupil, and it stared at me with that grin. And I mean, it's like black as day. I mean, I knew there was something north, but I had no idea. And it's the very first time this year that I bothered to to just cam record, because you just take stills, and this is just stills of the video. And so my point is to pay attention to this nose, pay attention to the greasiness. Now this is like, and the hair and how dark it is. And this is like 2 or 3 in the afternoon on March the 15th. So it's completely different as far as, lighting and everything else. And I want to bring this up because I truly believe that when Mike posts his image, and I don't know how you prove it, I can't, but I just, from my own personal experience, when he posted this one, and he literally posted it, and they waited 3.5 years, and this is supposed to, Mike brings up this whole thing about disclosure and all that. Literally within days, I am filming it. I didn't even know. By the way, I filmed this. I didn't even pay attention to Mike's image until a couple of weeks after he posted it, because I'm busy doing my own thing, right? And this is like, and I'm like, holy shit, I filmed this, and he just posts this. And so my point in this is kind of like confirmation both ends in a different way, that, if you see these things and get used to it, when you first see this face is scary as hell. It really is. But the more you get used to it and stare at it, you go, I think it's help preparation, so that you have your own personal encounter. It will give you enough strength to deal with it. Does that make sense?
10 years still waiting. 10 years.
Yeah.
15 years. Really, but 10 years with Neff's family, right?
Well, here's the thing. What if it happens after this life when we go to the other side? See, if you listen to a lot of traditions from different societies, when you go and pass on to the other side, that you're going to have all sorts of things that are going to be shown you. And if you haven't been prepared here, even when you get to the other side, it could be disastrous for you, especially if you don't want to return here. So what I'm saying is, if you see something like Neff on the other side, because your spirit has not been prepared, your true essence. You're going to go, oh my gosh, and they're going to be driven into this light and go back into the womb, Sophia's womb, and next thing you know, you're back here freaking going through another round of it. Now, I can't prove it to you, obviously, but there's a lot of people who think about this and talk about this for thousands of years, and they have similar stories. And so, when you talk about like when you go to the other side, it's kind of like this when you go through here. So you could get love bombed, right? You'll see something that's not real, like maybe you'll see Jesus or Moses or Muhammad or whatever, right? And it's an entity. It's one of those trickster spirits that Aaron's talking about, and it's going to trick you to go back into the light instead of being your sovereign self and being strong enough to face that first phase. It could be vice versa too. And maybe the next thing you're going to see these entities, because I've had my dreams, and I've had lucid dreams in which going through this tunnel before I go into this big giant blue valley. I think it's like the womb, and on the end of it there's this light, but going through the tunnel to go into the valley, you have all the people that's in your life, all the naysayers and all the control freaks and all the gurus and all the people that told you, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that, and they're going to try to draw you back with them, right? And if you resist that, then there's these scary dudes, right? They're going to look like Neff and others, and you're going to go, oh my gosh, and that's going to drive you to the light. If you can't face the light show, the illusion, then you're going to get sucked back here, man. I mean, that's what I'm discovering. And it's not even original. I mean, if you look at the Book of the Dead, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, there, I have the dream, and then I find out about the Tibetan Book of the Dead. You know what I mean? So, I mean, am I right? I don't know. We don't know to the end of the day, but I think that a lot of this, why we're here, is preparation for the next phase. You know what I mean? And I think the biggest thing is it's the only lesson I see that's really meaningful to be learned. You have to learn to be honest. And most of us don't know how to be honest. We pretend that we know how to be honest. But when the rubber meets the road, we'll fricking lie and make up shit and try to make ourselves look bigger than we are to other people. And we'll exaggerate about who we are in the past. And we have to really crush ourselves. And then the next thing is, I want to be honest, is then face the unknown, the darkness, the dark night of soul. In indigenous populations, their manhood, womanhood started when they're around 12, around that age. We're like 40, 50 years old, and we're just now growing up. I mean, I'm not saying everyone's that way, but for most of us, we have this extended adolescence, and we haven't really grown up. We think we have because we have a job, and we got married, and we got a mortgage, and we got bills to pay. And I'm sorry, those are just demonstrations that you're a slave, Nemo. That's all it is. You have not grown up at all. And I've learned this from a hard way. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Mike?
I've learned that I know nothing, basically.
It's pretty much, right?
To sum it up. I just want to, as far as the whole interdimensional thing goes as well, it's basically a term used that something that we can grasp onto that, helps to give it some sort of sensibility, because they can move through walls, they can travel. I believe they find us through consciousness, and they can show up anywhere at any time. The activity I see that goes on at the cottage, the physical contact, the footprints out of thin air, like in real time, this stuff has happened right beside me in real time, prints appearing. Haven't captured it on video yet. They haven't allowed that, basically. But it's happened where I'm filming something and then suddenly there's more right there, like literally right there. Just, their ability to do this stuff, to speak in our minds loud and clear, to manifest objects, to move objects through other objects without, so interdimensional, it's kind of a loose term, I guess, that we don't.
It's a placeholder.
Really full understanding of, right? So
it's a placeholder.
It's something that gives us something to go by. It's the truth
that's
of
part
it
of the
all.
problem, part of the matrix that we've been sucked up into. So We've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten our past, if there was a past. We don't know who we are today, that's for sure. Where we are like, it's like if people really pay attention to what's going on with our own personal lives and people around them, the body is, this avatar is the most poorly designed thing. Everyone brags about it, but no, we're not that greatly designed. And we have like 5,000 genetic problems. We have all sorts of issues. We can't seem to agree on anything. We can't seem to unite on anything. We are fighting in endless wars, and it goes on and on and on. And people have a hard time being honest. And the reason is because none of us really know what we're doing here. This is the big issue. So here, for me at least, and one of the few things that I know now for certain is that the interdimensional realm, the spirit realm, is real. There's lots of different entities, and that Sasquatch 100% is real. But I can't tell you what's going on in Washington, D.C. and what they're really planning. I can't tell you that the history that they told me is true. It's just words on paper that I can't verify. I can't tell you the stuff on the media is true because I haven't found anything yet. I can't tell you that when I went to church, they didn't tell that it was the truth because I can't verify any of that. And on it goes. So that's the issue that I have. And I think it's not ubiquitously or uniquely my issue. I think it's ubiquitous. I think it's all our issue. And we have to come to terms with the fact that we got sucked into this place. And I think that, at least for me, my journey, one of the things that has woke me up is Sasquatch. Believe it or not. I mean, it's so much. I mean, I got pretty extreme about things. So, I mean, and it's truly it's drastically changed my life. And I'm not talking about I'm a member of some group now and all that. I'm talking it's changed my life personally. It's actually given me hope where this world has not given me any hope about anything. Just lies after lies after lies.
Yeah. We're just lied to constantly, right? The media is owned. It's all propaganda. It's all bullshit. Governments are criminal organizations. The education systems, the hive mentality. It's just it's all bullshit, and none of it is built to for growth of consciousness. There's a war in human consciousness. The system is built and manipulated to keep us in a negative space, to keep us in fear. And people are waking up. I'm sick to death of it. Like I want to see Trudeau hung. On military execution televised. I want to see that these people they're demonic. They're evil. They know they're jabbing people, and
it's true. I mean, they took out my mom. I had a deal. I've done a lot, and here's one of the things too, because I'm a half breed, and so believe it or not, and they have focused on us big time, and with their designer jibby jabs that I've had. Before I got the MS from a jibby jab, I had to take care of my niece who was paralyzed from the head down for 18 years, and all that she could do was talk. No, she couldn't talk. She couldn't talk. All she could do was smile and cry and laugh at a joke and move her eyes. That's it. And that happened because she ended up getting this rare disease called glutaric aciduria type 1 that primarily happens with people who have Ojibwe blood in them. And what it does is that you can't break down the glutaric acid from protein, and it destroys your nervous system. And so she never had a chance to have a good life. And what happened was that she left, and I took care of her for those 18 years, and we did a lot of things. And then I got MS, and the last year I couldn't take care of her. So she ended up in the children's home, and she ended up dying there because she got sepsis from the freaking G tube because they wouldn't take care of her properly. And it goes on and on and on. It's just, and everybody's life it's honestly, Mike, I think that this place is about suffering. And I think it's about you and I making a decision. How honest are we going to be? And how honest are we going to say no to all this stuff? You know what I mean? And you have to figure out what that means. No. But I mean, you have to let go of your delusions and your idols and the things that you've been told, because it's all designed to keep you from knowing your true self and the truth of this world. They want you buying into their stupid politics, but it's all just a damn show. I mean, look at the Ottawa, Canada, the nation's capital. If you guys really pay attention to it, it's got an obelisk. But if you really pay attention, it's actually the middle finger, and it's a hand sticking, and it's going south to the United States. And here's another thing. Here's a little shocking thing to you. For you people like me who live in the United States who think that we won the Revolutionary War, well, guess what? We didn't. And all you have to do is do a little bit of study. We've always been a British colony. So guess what? What has America been doing all this time? Everyone talks about this unilateral war, that America controls things, does it? You pay attention to government and the military and everything. What have they been up to? Fighting wars, about wars, not to benefit people in the United States or in Canada or North America, but to benefit the monarchies that are in control of them, including the Vatican. This is the reason why I get banned all the time, Mike, because I know what's going on and I'll tell the truth about things. The Vatican and the British monarchy and Washington, D.C., and we're talking about the class warfare, and these people worship and follow these archonic forces. And Bill Monroe talked about the loosh, and what happens, our suffering and pain is to feed these entities, these dark entities. And they feed off our pain and suffering, and you can look it up, and it's not just unique. The Gnostics we're talking about, and many other groups, and many other, different First Nations people and other people throughout the world, their elders said the same thing. And we have to come to terms with where we're at. And I honestly think the Sasquatch is part of waking our asses up.
Oh yeah, they are definitely part of waking us up. I think they can see what's coming. I think I've seen evidence that they can see ahead in our timeline. Perhaps everything is now the way they see things. I don't know. I just want to mention too about I had asked them once who created humans, and they said nothing. I changed my question and wrote, "Did the Anunnaki create humans?" And they said yes, which I found.
Yeah, we're a freak of nature. We're not part of it. We're genetic, hybridized. You don't even have to even believe in this stuff. All you have to do is just open up your eyes and see how every other creature lives there's relatively in harmony with the rest of the creation. They don't need freaking electricity. They don't need houses. They don't need, clothes. They don't need the freaking I think the language.
We're the odd ones out, man. The only ones.
Yeah, and it doesn't take a genius. You don't need to have a degree in physics or in theology or history. All you have to do is open up your eyes. And I think most of you already realize this. We're just bringing it up that it's self-evident. We've been hybridized. We're the freaks. We're the problem. And we're now going to be the problem, because we were designed to be the problem. And the only, I think, it's like connecting with the spirit realm and to these interdimensional beings and these higher level of beings like Sasquatch, that I think that will help us wake up to the reality of who we are, humble ourselves a little bit, get a little more honest about things, and maybe stop being one of the tools that are a weapon against this creation, because that's what we are. It's clear that's what we are. We can't even help ourselves. Hey, I used to design nature trails, and I used to have business in greenscaping, and so design nature trails and wildflower meadows and bogs, working with native flowers and fauna and flora, and try to restore stuff, man. And I watched this thing, and I worked with developers and everyone else. I proved to them they could make money, and they still didn't want to do it. Make a shitload more money to just preserve their parcel of land if they allow green, strips of green, green strips, and forests and woods and all that. And they still didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do it because there's something wrong with us. We're disconnected from this place, and we were designed specifically to be disconnected from this place because clearly we're a tool at war against this creation. I'm sorry if that sounds like Mr. Know-It-All, but I put a lot of damn time into it.
The earth needs cleansed of all the shit show that is the human race.
It is a shit show. And see, the thing is, that's what I'm discovering, Mike, and I'm going to thank you for this as well. And then you look at Neff, and you have these counters and all that, and you're like, well, shit, there's a reality all around us, and we can't see it. We're designed, and we can't even see it. I mean, if you look at it, we can only see what fraction of 1% of all that's around us as far as electromagnetic spectrum, and then on top of that, then you and then you look at our brains, and it's like a device is like a valve, reduction valve, in which we're not able to use 5% of our mind. The brain is designed as a this to keep us from being able to see clearly, to hear clearly, to recognize, to think clearly. What the hell happened to us?
We're we're wearing a meat suit. We're here to experience being human, right? I had an experience about 25, 26 years ago now, and I woke up from a lucid dream and felt I had been touched by God. And what is that? It I woke up and I had this. I was enveloped in this pure, unconditional love. And I remember thinking, there isn't a drug on earth that could touch this. And it felt godlike. And I was thinking, man, some people would go insane. I think, experiencing this and just turn into zealots, religious fanatics.
And
It
they
stayed
do.
with me. It wasn't just, I woke up, it stayed with me for about a week. And then it slowly tapered off as a gentle taper off as a loving, all powerful source would do, instead of just abruptly take it away, right? I could feel it slowly tapering off. It was a gift, basically. Lasted, like I said, a week, like 7 days. And I remember I was just walking on cloud nine, and my head felt like it was connected to the universe, and I could tell it was intelligent, and it like it was powerful. It was godlike, right? I don't know what it was, but it was a godlike source. And it showed me that, yeah, hey, I'm watched, I'm loved, and there's a lot more going on. This is, we're here for an experience, whatever that may be. I don't know why I'm here, but
I don't like
I'm glad now.
I don't like the experience.
I'm glad I'm on this journey at this point. I've been given a fantastic, incredible gift, right? To be given so much of this contact, and I wanted to scream from the mountaintops when it first happened, and I still do, right? Because I know it goes against this system. It breaks it. It breaks the mold. It changes the paradigm. It changes how we view reality. It goes against the war on human consciousness. I could see all this easily. So this is why I do this, and they have been supporting me the whole way. They give me supporting evidence every freaking visit, every visit. I have, like I said, I have all these videos behind closed doors. I'm sure one day, they'll become public. One day, not right now. But one of these days, I'm sure, I'll have a whack of videos. Here you go. That show a lot more supporting evidence, right? And it just, I've been shown that there is more to this life than what we have here and now, basically.
Yeah, that's the hope, and this our I think most of the inner woman or man, our true essence, recognizes that too, regardless of religion or whatever you. I mean, I always knew that. I never, most of my life, never believed in religion and stuff. I fell in the trap a couple times because of desperation and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, in like this DMT, there's the two biggest hits we get in our life are when we first come out of the womb and when we die. So there's another thing to think about, that big love bombing thing. You might want to be careful, maybe get used to that thing about this whole thing about, because I think internally we all recognize that we should be sovereign entities. We should be in charge of our own destiny. And so maybe it's also an opportunity to prepare ourselves so if we're on the other side and we do get this big hit of DMT and just feeling of love and ecstasy, that we don't get suckered into where we don't want to go. You know what I mean? You say, thank you for that, but I'm going to sit here a little bit and wait and see what happens. You know what I mean? Instead of responding. I mean,
everyone has healing to do. Everybody has their own personal healing, and that's how you change the world, by doing your own personal inner work, not trying to fix everything else. Fix your own self, and you become a better person, and you become healed, right? I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I've had tons
I don't
of
know if
trouble growing up in my life, and I'm still still working on my own self, and it's like it's a lifetime process.
yeah, but I don't know if it's so much about being perfect according to men's standards. I think it's about finding peace within oneself. Does that make sense? In other words,
Yeah,
okay, so the body, the meat suit's going to constantly interfere with this. It's going to constantly, because of the chemicals and the hormones, and the nervous system deteriorates and the brain falls apart and all that. So you're going to be constantly threatened from the meat suit
and we're being
itself.
poisoned the whole time too, right?
Right. And we're doing all sorts of things to ourselves to make sure that it never happens, So, but the thing is to learn to be at peace with what's around us, no matter how shitty it is. And it's really shitty, because the only thing we have any control of is our own true essence. The rest of it, we're just fooling, we're just distracting ourselves by focusing on these external things. I'm not saying not to care about these things, but just don't fool yourself into thinking you're changing the world by voting every 4 years.
I've never voted in my life. I
Yeah,
doubt I ever will. I never took any jabs. I see right through it all. It's all set up. It's all lies, bullshit, and
and it sounds
stay away
negative.
from me, man.
It sounds
Get out of
negative,
my
Mike.
wallet too. Fuck.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it sounds negative what we're saying, but we're actually just telling you the truth, and it's just so you have your own self-defense, so you can work on yourself. Stop focusing on all these things. That's what they want you to do. They don't want you to focus on your true essence. They don't want you to focus on the truth that the Sasquatch is real and that the spirit realm is real. They don't want you to find yourself. They want you to be stuck in their paradigms. That's what they want, because as long as you're stuck in their paradigms, watching their movies, going to their, we're stuck in some things. We have to go to the public school system, and times we have to go to college, university, and get more brainwashing. But at some point, we have to grow up and say, you know what?
I didn't do
I'm,
that either.
yeah, you did. You're one. I'm very envious of you too, because I did do that, and that's part of my deconstruction process. That I had to let go of a lot of crap that I was told in religion and in television, but also from college and university and the workplace and blah blah blah. And because with more, if you challenge these things, just challenge them. I mean, if you guys want to challenge, for instance, you will know 100% that we never went to the moon. If you just go to the Shield Stompers, it's a YouTube channel called that's what I want to share with you. Go and spend a day, watch their videos. They will totally convince you that it was solely staged, 100%. And you'll be like, there ain't no way in hell that what we saw in those images is real. And you will have that defense. Go to the rebellious meat puppet, that dude. He's absolutely a genius. He's a little, intense, but if you're willing to accept the truth that he has to share, and you can overcome it and not become depressed and be, want to end your life, you can come to terms with the fact of where you really are at. You know what I mean? So these are things. I just wanted to bring that up because I think, along with Mike's channel, I mean, why watch it? There's more going on than meets the eye. He's going to warn you about what's going on in the Bigfoot community, what he's been going through, also the reality of Bigfoot. So you help you steer you on the right path. And it's not about, and we're not like, see, I hear this stuff all the time. It's like people want someone to lead them. Of course, I'm not even capable to do it because I don't have the skills to do it. So I'll never be a guru. But Mike, you could be a guru. You could take advantage of this. I know 100%. There's enough people out there that you could have a following.
I'm just doing my thing, man. I'm putting out my experiences. I'm very confident with it. Just to go back to the schooling thing for a second, I dropped out in grade 10, man. I couldn't stand school. I couldn't stand the authority, and I see people with degrees up the yin yang, basically, that they think they're on this pedestal when they're actually enslaved in this tiny box, and they can't step out of it, for fear of what their peers will think, or or what it'll do to their career. Hey, it affected me work wise. It's been difficult that way growing up, but I'm not a stupid guy, that's for sure. My intelligence through experience, and now I'm given this, right? So this is my journey now, and this is something that I really have a grasp on. The amount of experience they've given me, it's something that I've always, I've been more than willing to share and help others, and and help others understand their own experiences and what's going on, and help others go out there and find their own experiences with the hairy folk and that. So it's we all have our journey, right? I got about 5 minutes left, brother, because I got at 8 o'clock. I got a Zoom meeting with a few people. So.
That's fine, man. So, what do you have planned next as far as it? Oh, by the way, if you guys want to see a really good lecture, Mike, or presentation, there's probably a better way to say not a lecture. That was a wrong term. Mike's presentation, Sasquatch Contact Research Lecture. I guess it is lecture, but it should be presentation. It's that's what I think. He's presenting the truth. He's going to show you images. He's going to show his experience. He's going to see, and you're going to be like, wow, this guy.
Yeah, it was a McMaster University. I got invited twice, but I'll tell you this: I haven't heard back from him. Things got a little weird after the last one. I think he got ostracized for having me in there. I don't know, but I'm thinking, oh yeah, it's totally against. And I don't care. Like, I'm in a university. I'll say, yeah, the system is whatever. It's bullshit. The education system. I don't care, right? I do not shy away from speaking my mind, regardless of where I am. But I'm grateful that I was allowed to give 2 presentations 2 years in a row. And actually, the meeting I have coming up, I'm working on something to put together a conference this year. So, I'll be announcing that as soon as, we work some stuff out. So that's what my meeting's about at 8 o'clock.
Do you have any idea where it's going to be?
Yeah, Toronto.
Just Toronto. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we already got the venue, basically. So, but keep that quiet until everything is solidified.
Can I ask you a couple favors? Could you somehow introduce me to Henry Franzoni? And it's not just because I want to interview him, but because I think we have a lot in common, and I think that he's a smart person in certain areas, and I think his voice needs to be heard in our group, or I guess, I don't know, it's not really a camp. I think our camp is called the Truth Camp. That's what it's called. It's not the special blood. It's not the woo thing. We're just telling you the truth, and you do with what you want. But when you start seeing him these high strangeness things, and you start hearing poppers in trees and things flying in the air, or something, something pop out of a tree or whatever, or you have, like I've had, have a Sasquatch 15 feet in front of my grill and standing next to a Crow Indian medicine man, or the other one, the same 10 feet in front of me in my backyard. You can prepare yourself a little bit better than I did. I didn't handle it properly. I treated them as demons and started rebuking them and all the stupid shit instead of stepping back and relaxing and embracing the moment. I could have been a much better experience.
Yeah, I get that. I get that all the time, in the comments. Oh, Nephilim, oh, they're demonic, they're this or that. It's like, shut up. How do you know? You don't know shit. Just listen.
Your pastor and your church is not going to tell you the truth about this stuff. The television's not going to tell you the truth. The mainstream Bigfoot channels are not going to tell you the full truth. They're just, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to end up like me or Mike. You're going to be ostracized and put it aside. And you got to learn to embrace that and see that as a gift and not a problem. That's a gift, actually. Isolation is one of the best gifts you could ever be given in this life, believe it or not, because it gives you a chance to work out your own shit instead of following somebody else's nonsense. You can figure out your own stuff and become your own person. And that's part of the process. I do believe that Sasquatch is a big part of becoming part of your own true, authentic self. It's not a religion.
Sorry. I was just going to say there is more, to my situation that I'm involved with, that I've always had to hold back because it's for the protection of everybody involved. But there's things that I've learned. This is just mind blowing stuff, man. It's like, holy shit. I can't say that because it's already too much, right? Maybe one day I can. I hope one day I can share absolutely everything, because it's, some of the stuff is just.
Well, man, come do it with me. I think you see, I hope you recognize I'm a straight shooter, and I'll talk
Oh
to you
yeah,
this way.
oh yeah. Of course I do.
And I think we could give something a lot more than people realize, and it's not just about numbers or followings, because none of that. But there's a person out there in a group. There might be more than one person out there that needs to hear this, just like I needed to hear it, and not be misinformed by all these people that claim they know what they're talking about. And I'm not saying I'm far as Mike says, and also everyone says, none of us are experts about Sasquatch, because it's beyond our understanding. But at least we can share with you, this is what we experienced. You're going to experience similar things. Don't freak out. Don't worry about it. You're going to survive it. It's all part of the maturation process in life, just like our ancestors did, but they did it at 12 and not 50 like me. So maybe
I got a few years on you. So. It's
well, I'm 56. What's up? But you know what I'm saying. But I mean, 49.
Yeah,
49. Yes.
Age.
So if you do,
I got into this at about, well, the first video with Chris Munch that he did, that fur and cedar video. If anybody hasn't seen that, I'm forever 45 there. There's some crazy things that he experienced when he was there. But anyways, I'm gonna have to cut short here.
So just remember one thing. Don't forget about Franzoni, please, and don't forget about asking about Esau. And once again, this is Mike's YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, which I'm sure you have, let other people know, and give them a chance. Especially if you're ready. I understand if you're not. When I first saw Mike's stuff 7 years ago, I was not ready. I wasn't. It was.
This guy's batshit crazy.
Right, but now I realize I was the one who was batshit crazy.
Exactly. Thank you.
And I hope
everybody else is wrong.
I hope we do this more often, man.
You know that meme with one person standing there and thousands of others, and he just says, "You're all wrong."
Yes, pretty much it. And it's that lone voice, and that's have you been, and I hope that we do more of this, because I gel with you, bro. I feel I do. And I think we have a lot to share with people, and there's a lot more to talk about than just. And this is not just about sharing scary stories and going through the same old stuff. If we can. I think we can go to a different level, and I think maybe it's time to do it. Maybe I don't know how you feel about it. Does that make sense? Does it make sense what I'm saying? A different level. Ask your ass Neff and see. I know. My clan and my group, don't have any problem with it. They're like, let's just, it's time to frickin' tell the truth about what's really going on, man, to the best of our ability. You know what I mean?
If there's anybody that wants anything answered or has questions for me, you can reach out to me, Sasquatch Ontario at yahoo.ca for Canada. Find me on Facebook under Mike Paterson, 1T, and man.
If you guys stick around, I'll play some excerpts from his videos, if that's okay with you, Mike. And there's some of the audio and some of the images, and I think it's worth sticking around just to watch it. It'll be a good way to end it.
The audio has been absolutely fantastic. What they've given.
Oh man, it's so powerful, man. I can't just imagine. I can't imagine it.
I still get people saying, "Oh, that's fake. That's the landowner." It's us. Oh.
You had that shit go through you, go run right through your whole body. You won't be saying that anymore. Like a lot of people.
I've heard Neff's voice more recently. 2 visits in a row, he yelled out at me. It was nice to hear, and I recorded it too. So. Anyways, okay, I gotta go, brother.
All right, Mike Paterson, Sasquatch Ontario. Thank you, bro. And you guys, I'll just stick around, you guys, and I'll play some videos. They're little short excerpts. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, take care.
Same to you, bro. So the first thing I think we'll play, it's just a short one. I think it's really worth watching. Is Mike and the Footprints. Check this out.
So it was some time ago. I've mentioned before. I was involved in a group email. Especially when John Bindernagle was alive and Dmitry Bayanov, both prominent science minds that were involved in the subject, pioneers involved in this subject for decades. John for over 40 years and Dmitry since 1964, before I was born. And both were very supportive, regardless of the, squawking in their ears from people telling them to not take me seriously, And, I respect them for that. But it was, so being involved in that, which I pulled out of that quite some time ago. There was some names involved in there that, are well known in the subject, and one of them being a very well-known anthropologist whose name I won't mention, but everybody knows him. His face is plastered on every Bigfoot documentary out there, basically. He's propped up as an expert anthropologist anyways. Definitely not an expert on Sasquatch. There are none, and anybody that gets close enough understands that contact experience, that's where you learn, right? So he doesn't have any. I have lots. This was the very first cast from Nefertia. You can actually see there's skin folds there. This was cast on April 13th, 2013. And it was the end of the winter. The temperature was just perfect to pour casting material and show those dermal lines. I was really happy about that. I had made a mold of this using a 2-part epoxy, so I could make cast copies. It's not the biggest cast. It's only 12 inches in length. I was told by John at the time that the length was within the human range, obviously, but the width was not. It was, excuse me. So it was over years later that I would post some photos in this group email, and some of them were prints and casts, and I was called out by this certain anthropologist and told that this was wearing a shoe. But first of all, this was a cast copy was given to Les Stroud and John Bindernagle. I didn't know that there would be a television show where it would be John, Les, and Jeff Meldrum talking about, they had a table full of casts, and they were talking about hoax prints and casts. And at one point, Les is asked, which one do you want to scan? And he pointed to this one, the cast copy I gave him. I didn't know he was doing this. I had no idea. So they laser scanned it. This is a photo of the laser scan. So it was deemed authentic. Told to Dwayne through phone text. Real deal, he said. After back and forth text there. And what's interesting was they never stated if it was authentic or not on the television show. They left it hanging. So they laser scan this thing and then just leave the result hanging. Why? I got to question why. Bias, that's why, in my opinion. Because it comes from me. And I am controversial in this subject. Hugely controversial, because I don't hold back. I tell it just like it is, and some people don't like that. It's when you put out truth, when you get as close as I have, it's a shit show. But I'm still here. I'm not going away. I actually enjoy rattling the cage. I enjoy rocking the boat. I want to sink it. This is how I think. I don't like the mainstream narrative. I don't adhere to it. I never have. I see right through it. I don't follow. I never have. I blaze my own trail, and I always will. So
let's see, catch up with some of your messages here. I don't know where I lost you guys. You guys just blasted it out. Let's see. It only takes one true believer. If I miss some, I'm sorry. I'm going to start here. If it only takes one true believer with experience to duplicate any experience, JT says we share our experiences exactly. Social people and events and natural law. It's never too late to, and no real time. The so-called natural law, anyways. Yes, Mike. Hopefully, you're going to join us this Sunday. Mike, I've talked to. If you're still there, cameraman said you join me Sunday. So hopefully, you join us and talk to us about your experiences, what you guys have been doing. If you're still there. Still have respect for everyone's level of readiness, though. Yep. I mean, Mike, help me find the expert known Bill. He does commercial voiceovers, or did, and is getting pretty old. I don't know who you're talking about, really, man. You can email me and let me know. He's from out west the states. Okay, I'm not quite sure who Bill is. I might know who he is, but I'm not quite sure. Pretty well known Sasquatch people, maybe. Don't know, man. Are you friends with Rex on Rex Bear on? I don't know. You can find me on Facebook as Michael Adams, and you send me or you can email me because I've seen your name somewhere. Yeah, I'm floating around. There might be a Rex Bear. Not quite sure it is. He might be in the past. Thank you for your positive support with a couple more videos once I catch up here. So please stick by. You're going to hear the Bigfoot pulling a tree out of a freaking ground. Mike says, thanks everyone for showing up. Yeah, thank you guys. Brother, the Sasquatch Southwest Europe. If you guys don't know, we did a live a couple weeks ago. Go check that out, please. It was a great conversation. There's a lot of stuff going on in Portugal and Spain and France, believe it or not. And he's a pretty cool dude. And talk about synchronicity. My ex, I was married to her for 12 years. Grew up in Lisbon, the Twin City of Lisboa, and that's where Sasquatch Southwest Europe is from, and we had a great conversation. And JC says, have a great night. I think that's what he said. Have a great night, Mike. I watched it. That is nice to meet you. I'd like to learn more about your experience and what's going on in your neck of the woods. Mainstream Bigfoot channels don't know truth. They don't want to know the truth. They can't afford it. That's what it comes down to. Because they're going to end up like me, and they can't afford that, right? Because it's all about the money and the name and recognition instead of the truth. I have to go. Okay, man. Talk to you later, man. Laid across in the big pond. Yeah, it's 6 hours ahead, so you are like 2 a.m, I think. Yeah. This Steve still has some of the best information yet. If you feel so, Davy James. How you doing, anyways, Davy Jones Locke? How you doing, man? If you feel that, I'm not 100% sure about that. I think he could take it to the next level, but he's not doing that. Pretty good. The channel is taking a turn. Okay. later. So, okay, so let's watch another one. Just a couple more just short excerpts from Mike's lecture and stuff. Let's listen to The Tree. I call it Mike Paterson and The Tree. Check this out.
Down a back road on a more recent visit, and I had said at one point, I hope they don't ever push a tree down and block us in. And I had my my dash cam running when we were having our conversation, and I ended up capturing a vocalization in my vehicle. We've had activity happen in the vehicle on a few occasions at this point. So we had presence in the vehicle. So it was the next visit that I went to my tent spot by myself, and I got that. So they basically, I was laying in my tent, and I heard that tree go down. But this audio piece I'm going to play for you is not that tree, although it did happen at the same spot. And this is, you can tell by my reaction that I've been doing this for a while. I was by myself, it's dark, I think it was about 10 or 10:30 at night, laying in my tent, and I heard this. You hear the roots popping.
I think my friends just pushed the tree over. Wow.
If you play this stuff through good speakers, it really has some depth to it, like the vocals.
So imagine hearing that. Just imagine hearing that. That's next to you. What would you do if you heard a tree being pulled out of the ground? Yeah. It says a lot about the trees and tree connection with the Bigfoot and that kind of stuff, man. And let's see next. Let's listen to vocals. Vocal 1. This should wake you up.
They like to be funny. So this is one of my favorite vocals. Another short vocal. This is a distant vocal. Imagine hearing that if you're camping in the woods. This is the very first time they called my name, and they say Mike several times here. I remember I was in my tent. Dwayne was asleep in the cottage. I'm in my tent.
So I want to play that again, just so you guys hear that. I think it's worth listening to it again. And people say that Mike faked that. I want you to reproduce this. If you think that he's faked it, and you know so well, and you're such an expert, and you can figure things out, reproduce it. Listen to this.
They like to be funny. So this is one of my favorite vocals. Another short vocal. This is a distant vocal. Imagine hearing that if you're camping in the woods. This is the very first time they called my name, and they say Mike several times here. I remember I was in my tent. Dwayne was asleep in the cottage. I'm in my tent. My vehicle is down, down the hill. So I'm up this hill over top of this plateau. So I'm tucked back a bit so I don't hear it so loud. But I remember I was in my tent and I heard Neff vocalizing, and I told Dwayne in the morning. I said, I think he said Mike. I think he said my name. He's like, what? So yeah, we were pretty blown away when we heard this. So these started up basically the beginning of May 2013. I'll do this first.
That's pretty good stuff. My gosh. I don't know how anybody could fake that stuff. It says bye. Later, Vlad. You still with me, bro? Or do you got a packed house tonight? Yeah, I did. Thanks to Mike. Hey, if you guys are interested, still 15 left. Hey, we still got excerpts. I got another 20 minutes of different separate videos. If you're interested, let me know and I'll play it because there's some good stuff. So somebody give me a thumbs up or a yes or a no or a one. Let me know. Should I keep playing this stuff? If not, I'll end the show. Tell me what you guys want. You still have 15 of you here, and I think it's worth your time. But let me know if that's what you want. And Chris says yes. And anybody else? Say yay, nay. Great show tonight. Yeah, thank you, bro. Thanks to you. Once again, Rolling with the Clips. Okay, man. And once again, Sasquatch Confessions. If it wasn't for him and the Squatch gang, I wouldn't have a computer. And be honest with you, I wouldn't be having this conversation with Mike. So, and I think it was a hell of a good conversation. At least it was therapeutic for me. The next thing, we'll see what we play. Some more vocals. Let's do it.
Not sure what this is. An F speech, so likely speaking some language. He's banging on my car here too. This, I believe, was June 28th, 2013, after a full night of activity. This was about 5:30 in the morning. This one might be a little loud here. Distant vocal. You know, I get a lot of accusations. Oh, it's the property owner, you know, doing the voice. So I always point them to this. I say, okay, let's see. You think that's him?
Yeah, can you imagine hearing that? Can you imagine waking up in the morning to that? Oh my gosh, that would just be like, holy crap. So I'll do one more thing. Actually, it's going to be 2 parts. It's about 16 minutes, but this is part of that. I think it shows that, you know, Mike's legit. He's a guy, you know, listen, he has I know, I mean, the crap I went through last night with Matthew A. Johnson. God. Talk about what do they call them? A narcissist? An egotistical, you know, here's a great way to describe a narcissist. As a personality quality, including thinking very highly of oneself, needing admiration, believing others are inferior, and lacking empathy for others. And boy, did Matthew Johnson demonstrate that with me last night on Facebook. He was so disrespectful to me on every freaking level possible. And I'm thinking about actually posting it of what he actually put me through and what he said about Mike, because it demonstrates who he is. And it's wrong what he did. It's wrong what he said, and then the things he said about Mike you know, this is Matthew. If you don't know him, he's no worries. but he's one of the many Bigfoot community characters out there that thinks that he knows everything and that you should pay money to hang out with him, and he'll have encounters with Bigfoot. Which, by the way, I'm telling you, you should never ever pay anybody any money to do any Bigfoot research. And you can do all this in your own area, on your own time, in your own way. You do not need some swinging dick with his gun and Mr. Know-It-All, who has probably less experience than you could even imagine, but wants to capitalize on you and our ignorance and take money from you. If anybody charges you to go freaking Bigfooting, you just tell them to go pound sand, because they do not have the authority, the power, or anything to bring you closer to Sasquatch than what you heard tonight. They can't do it. That's pretty much what it is in Mr. Big Shot. And you hang out with these guys, and you guys know what I'm talking about. If you've been around the block, they do all this peacocking and cock blocking and all this crap. And they do all these terrible things, right? And they're just awful. And it's just, you get some women involved too. And next thing you know, nobody's acting normal. And everyone's acting like freaking teenagers instead of adults. Listen, you don't need them. You don't need to be hanging with them. They're not going to teach you anything. They're going to charge you to tell stories. And a lot of times you find out later they made up those stories. There's a lot of people out there who do lie about stuff and are out there simply to make a name for themselves, and they could care less whether you know the truth or not. All they care about is they look like Mr. Big Shot. Now, when you listen to this with Mike and you tell me, is he asking you to be his follower? Because he's not. And you're going to have to ask some questions. Why would a guy, for as long as he has, a decade and a half or more than that, the abuse that he's gone through to share the truth with people, and you know what? He's not asked your money. He's not told you to come to me to do some, now he might be doing some conference. That might be one thing, and it's up to your choice. But he's not charging you to go Bigfooting, researching and all that, because he knows it's wrong. It's immoral. It's downright rotten is what it is. You can do all this yourself, if you want to do it with your friends, and you don't need a Bigfoot expert to start having experiences. You don't need to go out in the West or someplace in the virgin forest. I guarantee you're going to have a good chance of having your own interaction somewhere very close to home. Very close to home. And don't you worry about it, because they've always been there. And if they wanted to do something to you, they would have done something to you a long time ago. And yeah, they might be scary. And they they convinced us that thanks to their Hollywood and their horror movies, that they're all monsters. Well, who really is the monster? Oh my gosh, they're going to come after me and they're going to eat me, right? Oh my gosh, they're cannibals. Well, who actually is the cannibal? Who has the actual history of cannibalism? It's actually human beings. Us. We're the ones who've done it. We're projecting ourselves on these things. They didn't do anything to us. But we've done everything to each other and to them. And still, something like Nefertiti wants to hang out and interact with Mike, right? I'm able to film stuff. You're looking behind me, there's a freaking images of just the spring of Bigfoot in my area. I didn't go far at all. I told you, I don't even go in the woods. I go in the edge of the woods. I've had encounters in my backyard, and you will too if you want. You don't need them. They need you. That's always the case. Remember this. All these experts and all these guys in their conferences and all that kind of stuff, they, and they have these big conventions and all this stuff and selling their hardware and their goods and their gadgets. Remember, and I'm not saying it's a wrong thing to do that, but what I am saying is that they need you. You don't need them. And if you want to have real experiences and understand the stuff, then do it yourself. Believe in yourself. Don't, have some courage. Yeah, they're massive. They're big. I mean, I've had some hells of stories. I got some stories to tell you. I don't know if things work out. Linda Eastburn, she's gonna be interviewing me tomorrow of all people. You know what I mean? And just imagine what if she actually, I just could imagine, would she tell the truth, the whole truth? Will she edit like most people? Most times I ever get interviewed, people edit my story. I mean, the closest thing to have an honest conversation I've had so far has been just 3 guys. One was JT at Sasquatch Confessions. The other guy, I have honest conversations with Mike. The rest of the guys, and I know some big name guys, they'll have honest conversations in private, but not when we do lives. Or when they do lives, they don't want to tell you the truth. And I think the reason is because if people really knew the truth, they'd realize that they're no better and different than you and I. That you never needed them. They need you. I don't have a problem with having a community as long as the community is honest and it's not a bunch of people exploiting each other and deceiving each other. Well, that's exactly what's happened to the Bigfoot community. So we're going to listen to this, and I want you to listen to this if you have and listen for the next 50 minutes and listen to this man. And he tells a story about Neff and his picture, and you ask yourself, why would this guy go through all this stuff and go through all the harassment and put that up just to fool you? What benefit does he get out of any of that? Now, there's other guys out there. There's lots of hoaxers out there, big time hoaxers. And there's some big ones. And you know what? And they're doing it for it. But you know what? There's completely different, right? He told you the story. He just like me. You know what? All the times I feel Bigfoot, guess what happens? I don't see him, but my camera lens seems to pick him up. And when I do have personal encounters, guess what happens? There ain't no fucking camera in the hand. Now, it's the same token. I can't say that because you just saw that in my very last time. That's when I stopped. May 15, when I had that, me filming the one. It was the first time I actually put on the cam camera and actually just made some video, and I filmed one. Smelled it. I knew it was there. Something guided me to point my camera the right exact spot for that few seconds to actually film it. All I got to say, man, you can look it up. Go to my channel, look it up. If you're interested, in the end, I'll play it again. And you'll see it. I filmed a Sasquatch just outside my town, 2 miles away from where I'm sitting right now. And if I can do that, you can do that, whether you live in Great Britain or in Portugal or the British Columbia or in Mexico or in Argentina or in South Africa or wherever you live. And I'll put money on it. But the thing is, you have to have a different attitude about these things. And you think you go out there with a group of guys acting like a bunch of, hey, we're going to have this big adventure and have this experience and have this. Guess what? No, you have to show some respect and you have to show some integrity, honesty. And you got to allow them to do it, man. Let them do it. I'm serious. And it might sound like well, who the hell are you, Mike? Well, it's because you want to know who, I'll show you this just so you know that I'm not making this up. You're looking right behind me, and you can look at the better image. It's a little blurry because, as you know, I don't have green screen and all that crap. But to be your get this way, I can figure it. The one in green, I filmed him in this video. The one behind me is a mama and an infant holding on to her coming out of a tree. You can see the video there. The one behind me is a juvenile. And here's what's the weirdest thing about these things. He looks like he's wearing glasses. And this is just numerous ones. And you know what I did? And this is one thing I'll give credit to Scott Carpenter, although I figured it out on my own. But it's like synchronicity happens the exact same time, and within a month of me figuring it out, I find out Scott Carpenter's doing the same thing back 2017. I started taking my camera and film to my side and behind me and all that. And he started doing it. And he started filming stuff. Now, he thinks it's Nephilim, but I know these aren't Nephilim. And I don't know why he get that, where he got there, because he was a smart guy, and may his soul rest in peace, and may in his next part of his journey, I hope have many blessings, him and his family. I have nothing against the guy. Me and Scott Carpenter did 2 shows together back in 2017 and early 2018. So I know Scott. And I encourage you to do the same thing. And, and then what you need to do then is take those images and put on your computer and then spend some time looking at them and start distinguishing between pareidolia and the stuff that's popping out of the freaking trees. Aim it at the trees. Do it. Don't be afraid. And it's going to still seem silly and stupid. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you filming the trees? I mean, you can start, it might not happen the first time. It might take 10th time or whenever it works out right for you and the spirit realm. You're going to start filming them. And then you're going to realize Michael Adams wasn't all that special. You already probably realized that anyways. And that you freaking can do the same thing that I could do, and that Mike Paterson does, and that JT and Sasquatch Confession does. You all can do it. It's not about being a cult and it's about bettering each other. And we're all looking for meaning and purpose in our life. We all know this. We're all searching for it, right? It's within you. You are the answer. And the more honest you are, the more you come to this truth. So I'm sorry about the preaching there, but I just feel, obviously I'm pretty a little bit passionate about the thing, this subject, you know what I mean? Because, I care about it. I care about you. I care about the truth. I care about myself. It says here, called to the side and behind is the best advice you have given me in the camera shop, Mike. Yeah. I'm not the first one to say this, right? And it turns out, Scott Carpenter wasn't the first one either. There's a lot of guys that have been sitting on that and talking about that for the past 40 years. We don't hear their voices, do we? What we hear are scary stories and endless emails and never coming to truth. And say, you better watch out and stay away from those things. Oh my gosh, they're coming after you. Are they? These things, if they really wanted to do something to us people, they would have done it to it a long time ago. Individually and collectively. So I don't know what they're up to and all that, but they are definitely not out to try to hurt you guys. So let's listen to this, and I want you to think about what Mike's saying here. And I want you to really listen to a man who's trying to tell you the truth, who's got nothing to gain. I mean, yes, nice. He's got 70,000 subs. Good for him, right? Doesn't mean shit, people. Yeah, he's got a few people that are interested in what he has to say, and he's getting interviews. You know what? At the end of the day, what matters most in all this, can you live with yourself? That's what's more important. And I don't know how half of you guys do it. I don't know how half of you guys can live with yourselves and do the things that you do and say the things you do, and how you guys just make up stuff and lie just to make it look like you're a Bigfooter. Who the frickin' cares about that? How about the person who wants to know the truth and wants to be honest with yourself? I think that's a hell of a lot more important.
Hey folks, I wanted to do a follow-up video on those entirely authentic photographs of Neff's face. It's incredible to watch the response. I knew there would be a lot of BS that came with this once I put this out, just like the vocals, way back when I started putting those out in 2013. The attempt to smear, discredit, and assassinate my character, it's relentless. And it's sad, that this subject, that there's a group of people like this, even to the point where I'm doing a presentation in the end of September in downtown Toronto at a Native event And the host was contacted by who I'm convinced is the same individual, because the characteristics are there. The same individual who's been obsessed. If you go to my website, look up The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, that dude there, obsessed with trying to discredit and smear and make this out to be a hoax. Why, if it's so fake, why 10 years of persistent harassment and ongoing smearing and trying to discredit? Why waste your time if it's if it's all BS? It's because it's real and you know it. You don't have that experience though to understand what you're dealing with. We are dealing with an ancient human type, interdimensional race. Our true ancestors, they are connected to us, as everything is connected to everything. This is what I've been shown over time. You don't know what I know unless you are the real deal. I know how Sasquatch show up. I know their behavior. I know how they interact with humans. Those of you trying to discredit, you don't know shit until you have contact experience. You can put up your trail cams and bang on your trees and you might get a reaction, but until you have contact, that's when you really learn. So as far as those pictures go, they're not masks. There's people that have posted mask shots. Oh, this is it. Your observation skills are clearly subpar, but I understand it's your ego. And there is a lot of ego to contend with in this subject, my own included. I do my best to keep myself in check. It's a challenge dealing with some of you, I tell you that. But the oily, some people said, it looks like plastic masks. There's a lot of oil in their skin, which I've shown over the years through photos like this with the hand marks on my vehicle and stuff, and also validated through others who have had similar, markings on their windows, on their vehicles, that sort of thing. I'm not the only one. There's many out there who are getting this stuff like that. So that's oil on his skin. His eyes are black. If the photograph on the right, the smiling face, that shot was taken first. It looks like second because of the order of those. I should have put them the other way around, but it's what it is. So that was taken first, which I know through file sizes and timestamps on the metadata. The shot on the left, if you look closely, he's grinning. So he was smiling first and then grinning. He's a ham. He's expressing humor in his face. You can see the humor. He knows his photograph is being taken. He is posing for the camera. Dwayne didn't see him when he was taking those shots, but he may have even been guided to take those shots for all I know without even knowing it. He always hears that shutter go off when he takes a picture, so it was interesting that it didn't go off, and which made him take a second shot seconds later. I wish the timestamp on the metadata hadn't switched over on the minute to show exactly how many seconds, but it was whatever. It was a few seconds. You take a shot and he might have taken a step or two. I don't know. As far as the shovel moving, look at the fence. It's lattice. It's flimsy. Little bump of the knee or leg or whatever, that's all that would take. It's a no-brainer. Have some common sense. Look at that. If you know what lattice is. I'm convinced, believe that's his arm on top of the fence, and he's just leaning on the fence. One shot, it's, his hands up like that, and then his wrist is bent. That's what it looks like to me. What looks like fabric or whatever, I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I don't have the answer. I expected there would be a lot of hair on his arm, as there has been photos taken over the years that show some very hairy stuff, right? But they're all different. They're people. They vary as we do. The whites in his ears. So if you look at the shot on the right where he's smiling, compared to the shot on the left with the same ear, you can see that it's changed, that it's lessened on the right where he's smiling. which shows me it's most highly likely oil and light reflection. So the one with the, as people say, look like earbuds or whatever, I believe it's just a light reflection and oil from his skin. Maybe it's something else, I don't know, but it changes when he moves his head on the one ear. So I would assume it would do the same if it showed both ears, you know, on both of them. But his, like I said, his eyes are black. His nose is very unique. You know, I can understand when some people have said between human and gorilla. I can see both. You know, I can see the human expression. Look at his teeth. They look human, which says a lot about, or gives insight into their eating habits. You don't see pointy teeth in there. There's, you know, there's a lot of information here. And these are, like I said, by far the clearest face shots, authentic face shots of a Sasquatch publicly known. Maybe there's something better out there that's not being posted, I don't know, but there's nothing remotely close to these that is out there. They gave these on purpose. Oh, there's another thing too. So someone had mentioned about the selfie and those being the same shot. I could see that happening, and I'll explain that something that I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. I'll put these images on. So I was given a couple images, a few images, I think, on my point and shoot camera at the kitchen table that clearly showed they were close-ups of these images, but they were blurred. And I remember at the time I said, oh, maybe these are, you know, because they were blurred, maybe they're giving these so I can put them out there publicly. And I asked, you know, am I allowed to show these? They said no. And they had taken the images, imposed them on the camera. So as far as the selfie goes, I could see if that's what the case is, if they did that again.
Now do the second part here.
I never looked at it closely enough to, you know, even entertain that thought at the time. I saw the close face shot of Neff, you know, partial face shot, and then waited till next visit and asked if I could share that, and they said yes. And then it was shortly after that it wasn't permission given with these full face shots. I was told, Mike, you show. And you know, the details of that, some of you are not ready for that. So, but it wasn't a permission thing. It was telling me. There's, like I said, there's certain things I've learned over the years that I don't share. It's just too much. It's already too much, you know. I wear my batshit crazy badge with honor. I love this stuff. And I understand that a lot of you have a very difficult time with this, comprehending, you know, talking about interdimensional beings. But I've been entirely truthful from day one. And anybody with any proper observation skills, you go through everything over 10 years. Every video, every comment, I've made probably thousands at this point. Every interview, I have a ton of them. Complete consistency and lack of contradiction. You can't find a flaw, it's flawless. But you don't look at that. Those of you who like to ridicule and attack and smear and discredit and all that, you don't look at that. You don't look at what you can't explain. You just attack what your small mind thinks it can get away with, basically. So we're involved in a subject where most do not have contact experience, and I have chosen to share my experiences to help others, and I have helped many people over the years. I get contacted all the time. Oh, and if I haven't gotten back to you on emails yet, I apologize. I'm backed right up, so it's difficult to stay on top of all this stuff. I get overwhelmed, and I'll do my best to slowly go through those and respond back to you. If it's been a long time, you can follow up with, you know, give me a follow-up email. You know, I apologize. It's not that I'm ignoring anybody. You can go onto my website, SasquatchOntario.com. and there's the contact page, or you can just contact me at Sasquatch Ontario at yahoo.ca for Canada. So as far as any other questions anybody might have, just let me know. You know, I'm doing my best to explain things and you know, give you a better understanding. I wear glasses. I even put contacts in when I'm putting these videos out so you can see my eyes. You know, again, those who try to or smear and all that, you don't look at body language. You don't know how to read body language. You don't know authenticity. You're not connected to your intuitive side. I'm an empath. I feel, see, and hear bullshit as soon as it's put out there. And I don't like it. And I call it. But those of you who think I'm full of it, to me, that just exposes how lacking you are in your own understanding of your own self, or you know, your own ego. You can't see past it, and I understand that. That's your own personal journey in life that you have to deal with. That you have to hopefully evolve and grow, and not stay stagnant in where you are. This is what life is. You know, we have a lifetime to heal ourselves and everything. You know, we all have our personal journey, and you know, I'm doing my best to do my part in healing what needs healed. You know, there's no rush. Like I said, we have a lifetime to do this. So, you know, if you're attacking or slandering or this and that, you know, take a look in the mirror. That's a reflection of who you are, not who I am. So. Anyways, I hope you all have an awesome day, and that includes you who are, you know, smearing me and attacking my character and all that. You have an awesome day too, and you know, listen to what I have to say. I can help you make contact, but it's up to you to, you know, change your ways, right? I have this channel is a wealth of information. There is so much knowledge and experience on this channel, and those who get it, I really appreciate your support over the years, and you know, I hope to continue this and keep putting stuff out. I hope Neff's family gives something one day that'll just blow your minds beyond these face photographs and that they gave, and you know, I truly am honored to be selected as a human for contact with their people. So have an awesome day. I'll see you soon.
All right, that's about the end of the show. I could ask a couple things though. For some reason, no one ever likes my videos. No one ever likes them. So if you could think about doing that. Now, here's the thing. It's not because I am all that interested in the popularity contest, and I'm not really interested in the numbers. But here's the thing. I'm heavily censored. If you don't believe me, look at the number of fucking videos I have on my YouTube channels and the number of subscribers I have. I watched my number go up and down. They won't let me get past 500. So that's fine if you don't want to subscribe to me and all that kind of stuff. But if you want me to be able to bring the high quality people here on the show and researchers to have these honest conversations, then I could care less if you got 3 subscribers or none or 1 or 1,000 or 1,000,000. But unfortunately, that's how analytics work, and that's how people think. So if you can think of it just a little bit and like it, share it, not for my ego's sake, because it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep doing this whether there's 2 people following this channel or there's 2 million. I could care less about those numbers. I really don't. It's not that I don't care about the people. I'm talking about the numbers. They're just numbers. You, the person, are what I care about, not the number. But unfortunately, that's how this stupid game works. So if you could like the videos, if you like anything about it, and you want to see more about this kind of stuff, if you want to see more images and of all the different interdimensional beings, including Sasquatch, if you want to share your own stuff, let me know. And in the about section of the channels, you can email me. I'm more than willing to talk to anybody about your experiences. And I know everyone has a little something different going on. And I don't know if I missed a few of these. Let me catch up with some of your ending comments here. I'll start with the JT. I take care. I care about you too, brother. Oh, thank you. And thanks, Mike and everyone. I have to go now. Well, if you're still there, I guess you're not. Thanks, Cole. I can't believe it. But I actually just found sought after Bill. His name is Bill Lee. Bill Lee. I don't know if JT, you know who he's talking about? Bill Lee. Bill Lee. Synchronicity. Yes, it does. It works like magic. That's for sure. Synchronicity, man. Pay attention to it. My favorite video of Mike. So much wisdom. Thanks. I don't know if you're talking about me or not. I have go mod crypto alchemist. Oh yeah, mod, yes, crypto. Hey, by the way, crypto alchemist and Burn Eye Science guy. He's the one guy that did live, and he's the science guy, and he shared his encounters with a thunderbird and a Sasquatch up there in Canada, there close to where JT is, kind of. Yes. Thank you for the likes. Bye, y'all. Okay, Aaron and Audrey. Who is the guy that's talking? The guy that's talking right now is me, Michael Adams, I'm assuming. If there's a guy that was on the video, that was Mike Paterson, and that's the guy I just interviewed tonight. Thank you, Audrey. Bernie, is good people. Yes, I like Bernie. I can get him back someday. And I think I got two. Well, I definitely got one. Saturday, I got a live with a gal who, believe it or not, I want to talk to her because she's fascinating. She deals with elementals and spirits, and she makes magic wands. And then after that, and maybe Sunday, I don't know if it's not set in stone yet, but cameraman and the crew and all that's going to join, and hopefully they talk about their what the research this past year in Ohio. Some very interesting stories there. Thank you. Both are yes, yes, you have. So that's a perfect time to end this. So the phone call, I'm going to end it. You guys have be blessed and have a great evening. All right.